Commencing 2018, we have introduced the Qimpro Platinum Standard for Environment. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled to announce that our first recipient of the Qimpro Platinum Standard for Environment is none other than Bittu Sahgal. Mr. Sahgal, could you please come up on stage?
Bittu Sahgal is the founder of the Sanctuary Nature Foundation. He's editor of Sanctuary Asia, India's first and largest circulating wildlife ecology magazine, as well as the founder editor of Sanctuary Cub, India's oldest and only wildlife magazine for children. A man with a mission, serving Mother Earth. Over the past 4 decades, Bittu has worked tirelessly to save the tiger and Mother Earth. At first, he was the awkward evangelist. Today, he has many followers. For this, he is grateful to Baba Amte, who reminded him to follow Rabindranath Tagore's advice, Ekla Cholo Re, in other words, walk alone. Do what you have to. People will follow when they are ready. He has also created Kids for Tigers, a conservation program for school children that has reached over 1 million children and has been run successfully for almost 2 decades. He knows all this will bear fruit in the long term. Currently, Sanctuary Asia prints 25,000 copies of the Wildlife and Ecology magazine. In addition, it has 50,000 subscribers for digital copies. Bittu has periodically declined to accept advertisements from companies known to leave terrible footprints on the environment. He walks his talk and is unafraid to talk. Bittu is an author. He regularly writes about conservation issues in books, magazines, and newspapers in both English and regional languages. He's an effective communicator. The Nostradamus Bittu has produced 30 wildlife documentaries with bold and inconvenient messages. The tomorrow he has been predicting has already arrived. Bittu has led national and international environmental campaigns across media platforms, including social media, an activist to the core, committed to this cause 24/365. Bittu works with policymakers, social workers, economists, and scientists at the tri-junction of biodiversity, climate change, and economics. He speaks at national and international platforms in support of wilderness conservation. Bittu's crusade continues. He has served on a range of government and non-government organization boards and committees over the last 30 years, including the National Board for Wildlife, Government of India, and the IUCN World Conservation Union, the Wild Foundation USA, and the Expert Appraisal Committee for Infrastructure, Ministry of Environment and Forests, Government of India. We salute Bittu Sahgal, our Qimpro Platinum Standard 2018 for Environment.
May I request Dr. Shakuntala Lulla and Mr. Homi Khushu Khan to present the award to Mr. Sahgal. Over to you, Mr. Sahgal.
Suresh, the Lola family, Qimpro, I'm humbled. I'm truly humbled because most people who start out doing what they do what they do. And Baba Amte's advice was a little different to what was mentioned. I was very, very down. It was possibly the lowest time of my life when I found that what seemed very obvious to me was not just obvious to others, but they actually, said, you are anti-national. You're coming in the way of so many things. And don't you care about people, you only care about animals. So when I went to Sundarlal Bahuguna and I went to Baba Amte, Baba Amte's real words to me were that, look, you want people to follow you, right? How are they going to follow you if you keep chasing them? That's what he said. He said, don't turn your back on them, just go and walk. And people will follow you. You chase them, they run away. So that was just by way of a correction. But let me say this, Suresh, that I have worked for quality and with quality all my life, but I never knew I was doing that. When you talk of nature, I mean, just imagine for one moment all the bacteria in my body, all the little cells that exist on every tree, on every blade of grass, all the elephants and all the ants that shit a little shit. There's nothing that goes waste. Waste is unknown to any species other than Homo sapiens. They don't have the technology to produce waste. Quality is part of evolution. That part of evolution took care of the poor quality, and poor quality meant adaptation too. So I work with Hemendra Kothari, and I'll tell you this, I'm on the Wildlife Conservation Trust as one of his trustees. It seemed a long time ago that I was on a collision course with the corporate sector because I didn't want a dam here, I didn't want a mine there, I didn't want a road here. And what he did was he opened my eyes to something as simple as this. He said that, look, you are not protecting a tiger or a forest, you're actually protecting infrastructures. And what the people you are trying to talk to are looking to build infrastructures, but they don't know that this is an infrastructure. And you cannot build one infrastructure by destroying another. So when that happened, something changed in my own mind, and I realized that, look, life is short. First of all, there was this one piece of advice that the Dalai Lama had given me on another low moment in my life. He said, every day of your life, it's your duty to be happy. And the joy of nature actually is what education is about. Right now, I would say that quality education, I've heard such inspirational people talking about education, and I'll say this, that if I was to, Roger, take a child and put him in a class and say, learn this, learn this, learn this, then regurgitate it, vomit it out and put it there, I'm producing a future generation that is disadvantaged. The moment you let a child out into the wild, into a garden, into Sanjay Gandhi National Park, into one of these things, suddenly that child comes alive. What is quality education? For the doctors and people, I wish I had your knowledge, but I can tell you this, that every child that every woman has ever given birth to was a wild animal at birth. He left the womb wild. The same as a tiger, the same as a wolverine, the same as an elephant, everything. It's us that have changed that child and made that child, educated that child to come in to live within the parameters, the boxes that we want. Something about what we started out as a journey. I miss Sorabji, I must tell you this. I miss him deeply, deeply. I would sit with him for hours on end and then meet him and talk about things, and everybody used to say, Sorabji's in a world of his own, he's in a dream of his own. He wasn't. He was the ultimate realist. And when I had influences like him, and I had Baba Amte on one side and I had Salim Ali on the other side, and the various works that we do now, I can just say this, that I wish that the word environmentalist was actually removed from the Oxford Dictionary. It should not exist. Each one of us has to do the right thing by the environment, or we're doing the wrong thing by life. I feel that this tri-junction that we've spoken about, Hemendra bhai, you and I have spoken about it at length, biodiversity, economics, climate change. Climate change is a spoiler for the first two. And as for economics, it's a wholly owned subsidiary of the environment. It's not a standalone thing. This whole business of we will get rich then protect the environment is not just putting the cart before the horse, it's actually killing the horse itself. And I think that people like us, there's a certain amount of arrogance that comes into people like us when we think we are right and everybody else is wrong. It can't be that way. Each one of us, like the biodiversity of the world, Suresh, we have biodiverse ideas. We don't want monocultures as ideas. All I did was I climbed a hill, I climbed a tree. I love climbing trees. I looked and I said, oh my God, there's a raging fire there. There's an army coming from there. There are cannons there. Then I came down. I don't know how to fix that. I come and tell Hemendra, I will come and tell Adi, I will come and tell others that, look, this is what I saw. Then it's for some people to trust. I am actually a good guy. I really am. But verify everything I say. Because unless you verify, you're not going to believe and act on your own. I worry for my country. I will listen to the Dalai Lama. I will be happy every morning. The kingfisher wakes me up thanks to the Parsi Panchayat. I live right behind it. I have golden orioles. I have this. I have that. I am very grateful to life. But I worry for my country. At this moment in time, Hemendra Bhai, please, shh. He tells me, look, stop it. Don't let the wolf out of your mouth. Why are we building 550,000 crore rupees worth of dams by borrowing money under glaciers that have melted? That's a retired, or what's the word for it? Asset. It's a lost asset before it started. What's that? Yeah, it's an NPA. I'm saying the same thing. If you look at Syria, we have to take lessons. What is quality? Quality is being able to live sustainably. What is sustainable? Sustainable is not that I can continue to live at your cost forever while I continue to deplete yours. I believe at this point, if you look at Syria, women invented agriculture there. They invented agriculture from the biodiverse seeds that they had. They threw them down, they grew, and they told their men, you want to go out and hunt and you want to do this, go. I want to bring my children up in one place, and that is how farming was invented in the world, in the Fertile Crescent. Nature did it all. If you look, and why am I mentioning Syria? Because I'm worried about India. Climate change, the third intersection. India is the most vulnerable country in the world today, bar none. Any one of these Seychelles or any one of the smaller islands in the small island states that occupy so much attention at all these Paris meetings for the climate. The Australian Prime Minister, Adi, said that, why are you guys making such a fuss? Let us take the coal out. You just come and we settle in Western Australia. So at one of these meetings, we said, all right, look, same offer, 1.3 billion Indians. Will you let us settle in Australia? No. We have a problem. Our glaciers are melting. Punjab, Haryana, Western UP will not be our food supply. Sundarbans, 24 Parganas South, and the Bangladesh, the salinization that's taking place is taking place at 3 millimeters sea level rise, and the winds that are coming, which used to be 60, 70, 80, 90. I grew up in Calcutta. Kilometers an hour, now 100, 120, 130. So all the freshwater sources, prak, prak, prak karke, the salt water is going in. Kidney failure. I can predict that kidney failure is going to be the largest single problem for 25 million people living in Bangladesh and India, and they will migrate north. From the north, they will have to migrate south. The only sources of water are our forests. We have no technology to maintain these forests. These are maintained by the ant, by the bee, by the butterfly. My children understand this. You guys, I'm sorry to say, you're too old for me. My constituency's average age is 12 years. But they understand it like that. They understand it like that. I can't understand why we don't understand it, and I can't understand how we want to be remembered tomorrow. And I will end by saying this. Nature is the greatest teacher that you could have, not just in terms of how it teaches you to be humble and things, but sheer technology. Nature is the one thing, if we emulate and we learn Nothing should go waste. The rest of the quality story tells itself. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you.